Well, just let us know and we'll come in. Hello and welcome to Darling Street Oval this afternoon. It's Hamilton Olympic up against the Jets Youth. Great to have your company on this Saturday afternoon for this delayed stream match. Both sides just out on the field getting ready for this big clash. With me in commentary today is former Broadmeadow Magic coach Damien Smith, and Damien, should be an exciting battle this afternoon.
Yes, Ben, I'm actually looking forward to this battle this afternoon. Looking at Olympic last week, obviously streaming it live, had a great performance against Magic. However, the Jets also had a great performance against Adamstown, winning 3-0 and having their first clean sheet. So talking to both the coaches prior to the game, it should be an interesting battle, and obviously it's experience versus youth today. So,
well, I was thinking last week we saw the two captains just doing the toss with the referee. We saw Hamilton and we saw Broadmeadow get behind Hamilton with some speed, which is what the Jets have. So I think that's going to be a key for them this afternoon, that speed up front.
Yeah, definitely. Even last week, Magic got in behind in the first, say, 15 minutes. Mick Bolch made a structural change due to the injury to Andrew Swan, which sort of combated the pace behind. So, and looking at Mick Bolch's side today, especially his back line, it looks like he's gone with the back line, which sort of ended the first half last week. So they've got a very experienced back line, and I think today they'll combat the youth and inexperience of the Jets.
Just going through those earlier scores today, Hamilton Olympic got up 3-1 in the 22s match, and it was a 1-1 draw in the 19s. And it's the last match for Tom Davies before he goes overseas to Europe on a gap year. So he is playing his 50th match for Hamilton Olympic today. It'll be the Newcastle Jets Youth running from right to left of screen in their away kit, predominantly white, and Hamilton in their predominantly blue kit, running from left to right now. So we're just about to get underway with Kane Goodchild and Tommy Spencer. Jacob Bailey bringing it back to Leo Bertos. On the ladder, Hamilton Olympic, the table topping, other side at the top of the table, 6 matches played, 5 wins and a draw. As Ko Degadoy goes back to his keeper Pierce Clark, who's come into the side today. Damien, he's only just been at the Jets for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, talking to Clayton Zane just prior to the match, Pierce Clark has only been training for 2 weeks. I think he's come from Queensland, so he said to me he just wants to...
Here's Brian Moore all of a sudden away, a chance for the Jets to open the scoring, but he's shot straight to Danny Island there.
Yeah, back on Pierce Clark. He's come down from Queensland. He's only been training for 2 weeks, and talking to Clayton Zane prior to the game, it looks like he's just going to rotate his keepers so they fight for a position. So Pierce Clark versus Jez Murray.
Danny Island going up towards halfway. The Jets on the ladder. They're in 7th spot. They've had just the one win. That was over Adamstown last week. 3-0, a draw against Western in round 1. A 3-3 draw, that one up at Bear Park, and then 4 losses. So they're sitting in 7th. Last week for the Jets, as I said, they had that 3-0 win over Adamstown, and for Hamilton Olympic, they had a 3-1 win over Broadmeadow, Damien, and that was a really impressive performance.
Bar the first 15 minutes for Olympic last week, it was a very impressive performance, and that's why they're on top of the table. I thought they controlled the game quite well.
Ball runs back to Hodges, and Cody Lucas going up the line. This time it sits for Waller. Cross to Cameron Joyce now. He's dispossessed over there by Tom Davies. Tom Davies looking up the ground, looking for Tommy Spencer. And now Anthony Burke, Tyson Jackson into the middle of the park for the Jets. Nodded on by Cody Carroll, but just Tom Davies there, nicking it off Cameron Joyce. He was brilliant last week in controlling James Virgili.
Yeah, once he switched to left back in place of Andrew Swan, he was brilliant last week. Tommy Davies, close to the man of the match. So it's going to be an interesting battle today with Cameron Joyce high, wide on the right, with Tommy Davies. Both have got pace and both are quality players.
Here is Cameron Joyce going in towards the middle for Brian Moore. Scored a hat-trick last week against Adamstown. Kyle Hodges away to Mooney. He scored last week as well. He scored the equaliser for Broadmeadow. His ball across to Daniel Bird, just over the top of him. Tyson Jackson with the throw. These two sides have met 8 times since 2012. It's been Hamilton Olympic winning five of those matches. The Jets just the one back in 2012. That was a 3-1 victory. And Powiak going back. Leo Bertos on the ball in a battle with Tom Waller. Bertos winning the free kick on that occasion.
Looking at the first 5 minutes of the game, the Jets have started quite well. They're showing enthusiasm. They're closing the space down and also closing the attackers down for Olympic really quickly. So at the moment, Olympic haven't got too much space to play.
Here's Jacob Bailey. Bird on that far side. We saw last week against Broadmeadow, Hamilton started fairly slowly. Broadmeadow getting the opening goal. Here's Kane Goodchild down the far side, cutting a ball into the middle and put over by Ryan Enzer.
Just on that play there, Tyson Jackson slightly out of position there. And also talking to Clayton Zane just prior to the game, he said, he's trying to, he's got a bit of an imbalance in his back line at the moment because he's got fullbacks playing centre backs at the moment. So he's trying to combat that this year or this game.
Simon Mooney with the corner for Broadmeadow, goes towards the near post. That's going to be another corner for Hamilton Olympic. Four minutes gone in this round 7 fixture. Last time these two sides met, it was a 7-0 victory to Hamilton Olympic late last season. Here's Mooney again towards the near post. Powiak away, only as far as Tom Davies. Simon Mooney now in towards the middle. Sits up for Kane Goodchild, who has a shot, and Kane Goodchild has found the back of the net. Just crept inside the near post, and Hamilton lead early.
That's where the experience and the aggression, as well as the strength of Kane Goodchild. It was a great finish in the end. However, I think the Jets fullbacks need to be just a little bit tighter on him around the box. So 1-0 Olympic.
Ball across now to Cameron Joyce. So Jets going to have to reply. Jackson. Now Ryan Enzer. Really, Damien, that goal came out of absolutely nothing for Kane Goodchild. That's what he does best.
Yeah, that's right. Tommy Davies sort of just, I wouldn't say a no-hope ball, but he just got it into the box because, that's where Kane is strong. That's where he scores all his goals in the box, and he's so strong. And he used his strength and sort of slid the ball in the side of the goal. So it's a good finish in the end.
And that's why Kane Goodchild is one of the most prolific scorers in the Northern New South Wales NPL. 5 goals this season already. Make it 6, I should say, after that one. 5 before this match. That'd take him, I'm pretty sure, to the leading scorer in the competition. There's a lot on 5, and he's the first to get to 6, Kane Goodchild. Number on his back this afternoon, Tommy Spencer. Now Tyson Jackson across the ground. Reece Cooper. We know how much pace he's got. The Jets on the ball through Carroll. Brymora. Still Brymora down towards the edge of the 18. He's got Tom Waller just behind him, and he plays it back and wins the throw for the Jets youth. Ball back for Adam Corley. Degadoy. Still Kao Degadoy. This ball into Mooney, and now Spencer. Wide to Simon Mooney, who looks towards Kane Goodchild. Yes, last season it was a 2-1 win to Hamilton Olympic in the early match, and as I mentioned before, 7-0 in the match later on in the season here at Darling Street. As Cooper goes across to Tom Davies. And now Daniel Bird. 24 goals in the matches between these two sides Hamilton have scored. The Jets have only managed 10 against Olympic. It's Ben Coyner who's scored the most for Olympic. He's not in the side today for Hamilton. And Kane Goodchild with 2 before this match, but that'll go up to 3 now. Here's Cody Carroll looking for Brymora. Here's Christopher Brymora trying to chip Danny Ireland, but gee, Hamilton's defence, they've given away some opportunities early.
Yeah, Kyle Hodges just pushed a little bit forward there, leaving Cody Lucas one-on-one with Brymora. Unfortunately, Cody got caught out a little bit of position as well, and Brymora probably should have finished that over Ireland.
And here's Mooney. Back to Cody Lucas. Plays it into Cody Carroll. Now Tom Waller, Brian Mora. He was one of the leading scorers before Goodchild netted his first this afternoon. He scored 5 before this match by Mora, helped by the hat-trick last week. Here's Daniel Bird down the far side for Olympic. Tyson Jackson, he cuts inside him. Bailey back to Bird into the middle. Lovely passing from Hamilton, and Spencer just couldn't control there. Reese Cooper. Across to Bird. Plays in Tom Davies now. Davies in towards the middle, and Pierce Clark. That'll be a confidence-boosting grab for the Jets keeper.
Yes, definitely. But that was well played by Hamilton Olympic. Just knocking the ball around, keeping the short passes, switching play. That's well played by Hamilton.
Here's Mooney going back to Lucas.
I know it's early days, and I know Jets are down 1-0, but I'm liking their enthusiasm. They're putting pressure on the ball. They're talking a lot. Clayton Zane's directing from the sideline, so they're not out of this game by any means.
Well, I'd have to agree with you there, Damien. The Jets have come out of the box really nicely. It was just probably an unlucky goal in the end. It just came out of nowhere. Here's Goodchild again, looking for his second. Kane Goodchild into the box. He's holding off Ryan Enzer well and wins Hamilton's third corner for the afternoon.
Yeah, I think for the Jets, I think Kane Goodchild is going to be the Jets' pimple today. The strength, experience, and the way he can glide past players is going to make the back two of Enzer and Dagodi really have their hands full today.
Simon Mooney again from that far side of the ground, whipping it in towards the back post. Clark with the punch. Leo Bertos takes on Waller in towards the middle, looking for Goodchild again. Clark gets up nicely. Plenty of height in goals, Pierce Clark. And Enzer leaves it away towards Cooper. Hits it low and hard. We know what Reese Cooper can do. He scored an absolute cracker against Western from near the halfway line. And he wasn't far off there, Reese Cooper. Another goal kick for Pierce Clark. And Ko Degadoy. Back to Clark. Up over towards the halfway line. Over the sideline throw for Adam Corley.
That was good pressure by Olympic, especially on Kane Goodchild on the goalkeeper, forcing him to kick it long. So therefore, Jets unable to play out. It was well done by Olympic.
Now Tom Davies just letting this one run past him, and Cameron Joyce taking the opportunity and getting the Jets a corner, their first of the afternoon here at Darling Street. Adam Corley going over to take it for the Jets now. Goes short back to Powiak, his captain. Anthony Burke in towards Brian Mora, but just a little bit heavy and over the top there. But Damien, interesting stat in matches this season. In Hamilton's 6 matches, 20 goals have been scored, and an average of just over 3 a game. When the Jets have played, 32 goals have been scored at an average of just over 5 a game. So when the Jets youth play, there are plenty of goals.
Unfortunately, a lot of those goals are against the Jets youth due to their inexperienced backline, and also due to the fact it's unbalanced. Like Clayton's saying he's playing fullbacks in centre-back position, so it makes it a little bit tough for him. So there's been a lot of goals. Unfortunately, there's a lot of them are more against.
Here is Degadoy. Jets with the 6th best attack in the competition, which isn't bad at all considering there's a massive gap in the competition now between the top 5 and the bottom 5 on the ladder. Broadmeadow in 5th and then Lambton in 6th. Broadmeadow on 11 points in 5th place. And then Lambton on 4 points in 6th. So gap starting to appear. But the Jets have scored 12 goals this season, which is up there with the likes of Broadmeadow, Edgeworth, Charlestown, Maitland and Hamilton. Here's Enzer back to Degadoy.
What I'm liking about the Jets here, they've just been patient with the ball. They're not trying to force it. I nearly had to eat my words then. So, they've just been patient with the ball, just trying to suck Hamilton out a little bit. I thought it was quite well done. However, unfortunately, they did get caught with the ball, just holding on a bit too much.
Leo Bertos with the throw now for Hamilton. The only live game we've done with the Jets this season was a 4-2 loss they had at Edgeworth at Jack McLaughlin. They were right in that match for much of it. It was just at the back end where Edgeworth, Kigo Moriyasu had some spectacular strikes in that one. Here's Corley now. Down this near side of the ground, Lucas comes across and deals with him.
Yeah, Ben, I didn't see that game at all, but talking to Clayton Zane prior to the match, he said in most games they've been in the match. However, they're just having like this 20 minutes lapse in concentration, which is sort of hurting them, i.e. the game against Edgeworth. So, I don't know. He's been pretty happy with the way his squad's been going. It's just they need to concentrate for the whole 90 minutes.
Well, the first 20 minutes of that game, they were down 2-0 and lost 4-2. So you take that out, and it's a 2-all scoreline for the Jets. So shows you they were right in that contest against last season's major and minor premiers. Here's Adam Corley. Waller looking back for Corley, but Tommy Spencer, I'd probably have to say he's been Hamilton's best this season, Tommy Spencer, from the matches I've seen. He's been outstanding in the middle of the park.
Yeah, I've only seen Hamilton play once, which was last week, and he had a great game against Magic, setting up a goal after he beat 2 players in the box. So I'll be interested to see how he goes today. So far, a good start to the game.
Played for the Northern Tigers and Blacktown Spartans in the New South Wales NPL competition. Tommy Spencer, he was actually going to play for Hamilton last season, but just decided he wanted to have a break for a season. The fire wasn't there, and now he's back in 2016, and he's been outstanding for Hamilton. As we spoke about, Cameron Joyce on the ball now for the Jets.
What I'm liking at the moment about Hamilton is their defensive structures are very tight, very condensed through the centre, therefore making it very difficult for the Jets to play through the centre and making it very congested, and they're winning the ball quite easily. So, Hamilton's defensive structure's working very well at the moment.
Packing goals there to Pierce Clark. Hamilton this season, 3 matches here at Darling Street, 3 home matches and 3 victories. 10 goals for and just 2 against. Away from home, they've only scored the 6 goals and conceded 2 as well. So their attack definitely better here at Darling Street going on those statistics. Not that it really matters in the end, but such all the sides in this competition very close in distance to each other. Here's Cody Lucas to Reece Cooper. His ball looking back for Kyle Hodges. He's giving it straight to Cameron Joyce, and his ball a bit disappointing.
Yeah, he didn't really look where he was passing the ball. He just thought Cody Lucas was going to be there, but he sort of just took his eye off the ball, and it was won by Cameron Joyce. But Cameron Joyce's pass, he forced the pass too much and went straight to Daniel Ireland.
Here's Daniel Bird over the sideline. Throw again for Hamilton Olympic. Kane, good job with an early goal for Hamilton, putting them in the lead on this delayed stream match here on Bar TV. Hamilton up against the Jets youth. Daniel Bird, still going Bird across the ground. Back for Mooney. Plays it wide to Spencer. Looks in towards the middle, and another corner now for Hamilton.
That was well defended in the end by the Jets. However, Tyson Jackson slightly got out of position and they were able to play the ball in behind. So he just needs to work on his positional play.
Here's Mooney. Again, it's another ball in towards the near post. 4 corners for Hamilton. A lot have been in towards that near post from Simon Mooney from that far side. It's back across to him now. Played his juniors at Old Bar, Simon Mooney. Jackson again, unable to stop Mooney there. Back for Spencer. And now Cody Carroll. It's the NYL Jets Player of the Year. Here is Carroll looking across to Waller. Waller gets his foot in just in front of Brian Moore, and the free kick goes to Hamilton after a handball against Brian Moore. Hodges. Now Anthony Burke goes to Carroll. He's got Waller with him. Brian Moore, here is the shot straight to Danny Ireland. It's going to be a tough test for the Jets today against Danny Ireland.
Yeah, definitely, and also against their experienced back four. But in saying that, they've had a few half chances there. I think the Olympic just need to be a little bit careful with the Jets playing the ball forward.
Here's Hodges to Bird. Lovely touch onto Davies. Back to Bird again. Here is Hodges. And towards Goodchild. Lovely touch off the head to Tom Davies, who goes down the left edge of the box. Tyson Jackson, a good tackle, but another corner.
Like Hamilton, the Jets are very condensed in defence, very compact, so it's making it very hard to play through the centre. It's a good, both sides have got very good defensive structures at the moment.
You have a look here for the Jets. All 11 of their players are in the box. So this corner's whipped in near post again. Pierce Clark gets a hold of it. Simon Mooney's corners are all coming towards that near post. I don't know whether it's the wind or...
Yeah, unsure. Normally you'd have a guy on the near stick to knot it on, but there's no one there at the moment. So I think Simon will be a little bit disappointed with a few of his corners. You really want to test a young goalkeeper out here because it's very condensed in that box.
Here is Tyson Jackson looking over the top for Brian Mora.
Again, Hamilton very condensed and compact in defence, forcing the Jets to go long.
Here's Cody Lucas looking over the top for Goodchild. He got around Enzer, and Jackson's played it straight to Goodchild, who scores his second this afternoon. And he's 7th of the season now, Goodchild.
That's the second goal of Olympics, number 6, Kane Goodchild.
Yeah, the experience of Kane Goodchild, even the presence of Kane Goodchild. Poor Tyson Jackson was thrown off a little bit by Kane running at him at full ball, the big 100-kilo man. But, you know, Kane's experience, he was one-on-one with Pierce Clark and he just slogged it nice and calmly. He had the option to go around the keeper, but he just slogged it well. 2 goals of Kane.
You look at this scoreline, Damien, as Anthony Burke goes back to Tyson Jackson. That's now 9 goals in the last 110 minutes for Hamilton against the Jets. 9-0 it's been in the last 110 minutes, so not great defensive stats for the Jets youth side there.
As I said before, I was talking to Clayton before the game, and yeah, he's got an imbalance in the back line, unfortunately, and that's probably where their weakness is at the moment. But you know what? It's a 2-0 lead, you know, it's been a pretty tight game, to be honest. But just 2 sort of defensive mistakes has caused 2 goals to Olympic. But in saying that, Kane's, you know, had to put them away, and he did well.
Back now for Ryan Enzer. You look at this scoreline 2-0 and you go, gee, I think Hamilton... I think it's been a closer match than 2-0 to Hamilton. The Jets have had some great chances. Here's Joyce winning a corner for the Jets.
I totally agree with you, Ben. And if you look at the 2 goals, they're sort of, one was a defensive mistake just then, and the other one was sort of, the ball sort of bounced down for Kane Goodchild and just used his strength to put it away. So to be honest, it's been a fairly evenish match at the moment.
So we've got a second ball on the field. Powiak knocking that one over onto the other field, as here is Powiak in towards the middle and just a little bit too high for his man in the middle, and it'll just be a goal kick to Danny Ireland. So imposing in the Hamilton goal, Danny Ireland. Just 4 goals conceded this season. 2 against Edgeworth, 1 against Magic, and 1 against Adamstown. Matt Paul scored that day. He's no longer at Adamstown, going across to Valentine. They're up against Magic tomorrow, so Matt Paul up against one of his former clubs, Broadmeadow Magic. Here is Anthony Burke, dispossessed by Leo Bertos. Goes across the ground, his ball playing back in that breeze. And your Bird had to backtrack. Davies. Now Bird. You get around Tyson Jackson. He'll be keen to make up for that defensive mistake moments ago, and Jackson doing well to hold off Bird. He goes back to Enzer. And the throw goes the way of the Jets.
Yeah, agreed. Tyson Jackson did well there to hold off Bird. Yeah, he just needs to get a bit more confidence, Tyson Jackson, just with his positional play on that right-hand side. So, but still a long way to go. It's 2-0 to Olympic, but a long way to go.
Goodchild back to Bailey. Man of the match last week in the game against Broadmeadow Magic. The Dustman House man of the match for Bar TV's match of the round. Tireless work in the midfield from Jacob Bailey. Here's Corley. And now Powiak back to Ryan Enzer. Here is Degadoy. Cody Carroll just flicking it on towards Tom Waller, but over the sideline.
Yeah, Cody could have taken a touch there, just a touch, be a bit more composed on the ball. Hamilton's defensive structure right from the front at Kane Goodchild is a great setup at the moment. It's forcing the Jets to go long at times, so they're keeping it very compact. And likewise the Jets.
Here is Powiak. Space in front of him. He decides to have a go from distance into the back of Reese Cooper. And now Jackson across to Powiak. Powiak back to Burke. And now Ryan Enza. Enza looking across to Corley. It's just a little bit high for him. Not tall enough there, Adam Corley, to keep that one in. And Hamilton with the throw, just relieving a little bit of pressure. But Bailey gives away the free kick.
Good pressure by Cody Carroll. The Jets are still showing enthusiasm. Even though they're down 2-0, they're still, I think they're definitely in this game still.
Here's Powiak across to Jackson. Goes to Enza. Hamilton happy to sit back inside their own half. Let the Jets come at them here. Is Degadoy looking for Corley. Back towards Waller. Great tackle from Jacob Bailey again there. Spencer finds Goodchild. Enza. Back to Clark. Clark under pressure from Goodchild. He does well. Would have put Clayton Zane's heart in his mouth for a moment there. Here is Enza. Looking for Brymora. Cody Lucas does well with a header, but Burtos unable to control, and Brymora and Burtos go down. Here's Davies. Hodges to Bird now. Jackson coming from behind and over the sideline. Throw for Hamilton Olympic. Almost 25 minutes gone here at Darling Street this afternoon. Hamilton ahead 2-0 thanks to 2 strikes from Kane Goodchild. 2 scrappy goals, but he put them in the back of the net, and that's what you need from your striker up the front. And Kane Goodchild has done that again for Hamilton today. 7 goals this season takes him into the lead, the Golden Boot for this season for the Northern New South Wales NPL. Here's Cameron Joyce going down under a tackle from Bird. Free kick going the Jets' way. And Damien, you really think about this, the Jets, you take out those 2, we'll call them defensive errors, and we're on an even playing field.
To me, looking at it live, it looks like a game of chess. Both sides are set up really defensively very, very compact. Both sides just playing around at the back. And then in the end, they're both forced to go a little bit long. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out, the game. Even here, see Olympic just dropping a little bit deeper, not putting too much pressure on the ball. They're staying nice and compact. Their backline's not too bad. They can probably push up a little bit higher. However, through the centre, it's very compact.
Here is Adam Corley cutting inside Leo Burtos. Must be a great experience for these young Jets on this left-hand side, going up against Leo Burtos. From an A-League player for Wellington Phoenix, Leo Burtos, and New Zealand international. What a career he had. Even played in the Indian Premier League, the football version of it. I think Sachin Tendulkar owns a team in that competition, but I'm just digressing.
I think it's a great opportunity for anyone in the NPL playing against Leo Burdos with his experience. I think this year in the NPL with a few of the A-League players coming back to play, it's great for the comp in general.
Yeah, Leo Burt is an outstanding addition for Hamilton this season. Mick Bolch, be excited with that. As here is Anthony Burke. Across to Cameron Joyce. Still Joyce back to Tyson Jackson. Sometimes you're unsure, Damien, whether you get a player of his quality coming back into a local competition and you're unsure what their quality will be like. Here's Brymora, and now a shot from Waller at the back post. Just back to that, you're not sure if you get a player of that quality when they come back here in a local comp, whether they're still going to be playing at that high level. But he's been brilliant for Hamilton this year.
Yeah, exactly. But also depending on the age, he's still, I think, maybe 34. So he's still relatively not too bad for the local comp. If some players come back and they're obviously quite elderly, not elderly, but nearly over the top, yeah. So, but talking to Mick Bolts, I reckon he's great with the young ones, especially at training. Helps him out a lot. So he's been a great addition to the NPL this year.
Here's Cameron Joyce getting behind Tom Davies, plays into the middle. Cody Carroll with the header, just in front of Danny Island's near post.
And as the game's going on, the Jets are slowly threatening the Olympic goal. I think honestly the Jets are going to at least get a goal today. They've been quite threatening.
And to beat Danny Island, that's a pretty outstanding thing to do for the Jets. He'd have to be up there with A-League quality. You'd have to think Danny Island, of course, going over to the UK and playing. Made his professional debut in 2008 for Coventry over in the UK in their 3-1 League Cup victory over Aldershot. So he's played in a high level of competition, Danny Island. And Mick Bolch thinks he's got the best goalkeeper and best centre-back in the comp with Kyle Hodges and him, Danny Island in goals.
Yeah, even talking to other coaches, I think Danny Island's probably arguably the best goalkeeper in the comp. And to be honest, he's probably a 9 points to a side. So I know he did very well at Lambton when he was there.
Here's Goodchild away again for Hamilton. Plays it back to Cooper. Here's Goodchild again looking for an early hat-trick. Plays it straight to Pierce Clark. But that's what Hamilton is, they're just feeding off those chances the Jets are giving away, and Kane Goodchild is loving it. Almost another error at the back for the Jets. Degadoy playing it to Waller. And Waller back to Degadoy.
I think Hamilton's been smart now. The more you look at the game, they're just allowing the Jets play the ball at the back and just pinching, looking for a mistake. And again, Kane Goodchild nearly scored again due to a mistake at the back.
Here's Joyce into Brian Mora. Brian Mora wins another corner from the Jets. But yeah, that's what Hamilton are doing. That's what those early 2 goals, as you said, Damien, they're just waiting for the Jets to make an error at the back and pouncing, and Goodchild has done that so far. Adam Corley again going over for the corner kick for the Jets from that far side of the ground. Here's Corley whipping it in. Danny Island gets up. Makes a great save there. There's Goodchild diving in, not collecting Tyson Jackson. Hamilton Olympic have made Darling Street a fortress in the last 2 seasons. Just the one loss in their last 2 seasons in the NPL, last season and this season included. That was to Maitland in the final round, pulling their pants down on the final match day, round 18 it was last year. Hamilton losing first spot because of that. And they had a lot of draws last season as well, Hamilton, which hurt them.
Just on that, Ben, as a coach, you want to make your home ground a fortress. So, yeah, that's a credit to Olympic.
The home fans haven't gone home disappointed too often in the last couple of seasons. Those 2 losses they had that were not here at Darling Street last season, they had the 3 losses last year was against Edgeworth in the grand final at Magic Park and then at Jack McLaughlin Oval. Round 15 match, that one. Well, they didn't turn up for the first 45 minutes. And still almost stole 3 points from Edgeworth. They went down 3-1, but they could have been up 2-1 at the start of the second half. I should say they should have drawn level. They scored in the first minute of the second half, and then Kane Goodchild hit the post with a chance to make it 2-2, and then Edgeworth scored late to make it 3-1. As here is Cody Carroll whipping it in towards the back post. Simon Mooney rising. Here's Corley. Shot with his left, skews towards Joyce. Fortuitous for the Jets, and here's Anthony Burke on the ball now. 4 goals last season for the Jets. Anthony Burke is Corley. He's headed towards Burtos. Powiak towards Burke, but Reese Cooper on the ball. Powiak comes and nicks it off him. Burke chipping over the top, but Burtos is going back for Hamilton Olympic. Leo Burtos in his preferred position at right back. He was great last week against Broadmeadow, and this afternoon he's been good as well.
Yeah, he started off at high wide on the right, as in right midfield, but then moved to right back with injury to Andrew Swan last week and did a tremendous job on Carl Bradbury. And having seen Leo Burtis play in the back line as well as in the forward line for Wellington Phoenix, either one suits him. He's a quality player.
Now, Damien, do you know the latest on Matt and Andrew Swan? How long they will be they'll be out for Hamilton?
Yeah, I'm a bit unsure about that, Ben. So I've seen Andrew Swan having a beer earlier, so I'd say he'll be out for a few weeks. So
yeah, Matt Swan, of course, injured last week in the match against Broadmeadow early on. I'm trying to think. I think Mick Bolch may have said a couple of weeks, but Andrew Swan, I'm definitely unsure. But I think it's within the month, Andrew Swan. So Mick Bolch would love to have those two back in the Hamilton lineup. Here's Waller in towards Corley. Goes into the 18-yard box, back towards Cody Carroll. Carroll, lovely ball to Waller. Waller in towards the middle. Kyle Hodges getting there.
that was very well played by Hamilton. What I liked was their short passing and movement of the ball, and always looking to get that forward run into the box. It was well played by the Jets.
Here's Burke, back to Corley, in towards Bramora, who scored a goal similar to that last week. Ball in from the right-hand side, that one from the left from Corley. Another goal kick for Danny Ireland, but that was probably the most threatening the Jets have looked there. Danny Ireland not comfortable at all as that ball was coming towards his near post, and Kyle Hodges did a great work cleaning that up. It's a good child, playing it wide now towards Bird, and we've got a free kick going Hamilton's way. I'm thinking for a shirt take. I didn't quite see what happened. Spencer looks like he's going to take it. Spencer towards the back post, but they're going to have to retake it.
Yeah, he's been a good child again. He's been a menace to those back four, just showing his strength and experience. So I think he's going to be more threatening again throughout the match.
Referee just making sure that Hamilton taking it from the right mark is now in towards Spencer. Degadoy using his height to his advantage there. And now the Jets get a free kick. 35 minutes gone in this delayed stream match here on Bar TV. Round 7. Hamilton Olympic, the home side this afternoon, up against the Jets youth. It's first against 7th, and Kane Goodchild's grabbed 2 goals this afternoon. Two goals from... First one, a good finish from Kane Goodchild. He did well. It was an opportunistic goal. And then the second one from a Jets defensive error at the back. This is Degadoy. Goes to Corley, who gets inside Simon Mooney. Here's Waller. And now Carroll plays it into his opposite number, Reece Cooper. Goodchild into Degadoy. Back to Waller. Here's Brymora. Brymora has an effort from distance, and that one's too easy for Danny Ireland in the Hamilton goal. Ireland up towards Kane Goodchild. Lacing him down the right-hand side. Lays it in towards the middle. Goodchild and Degadoy's there. Carroll flicking it on. Bouncing up high. Hodges had to get up. And now Bailey. Back to Leo Bertos. Turns under pressure from Brymora. Back to Cody Lucas and Hodges now. And now Cooper. Mason Campbell playing at the back last season for Hamilton alongside Kyle Hodges, so he's been a big loss for them this season. And Cody Lucas doing a great job. Last week against Broadmeadow, he was great at the back, and again this afternoon, keeping a clean sheet so far, Hamilton. Here is Spencer. Goodchild across to Bird now. And now Tom Davies. As we mentioned earlier, his final match for Hamilton before he goes overseas for this season. Here's Bird. His 50th for the club is his. Bird still going, Daniel Bird. Plays a shot. Clark with the save. It sits up for Jacob Bailey. And he's probably not scored an easier goal in his career.
Yeah, tend to agree, but full credit there goes to Daniel Berg. Gets past, I think, about 3 plays in the end. And keeper parried it. Maybe the keeper could have done better holding on to the ball. However, Jacob Bailey was there in the end just to tap it in. So he must go over and thank Daniel Bird or buy him a beer after the game for setting him up the easiest goal he'll probably ever score.
And he'll be happy with that, Jacob Bailey. It's his first of the year, 14th for the club. Hasn't scored. He scored 7 last season, so he gets off the mark. It's taken him a while this season, 7 rounds. Here's Anthony Burke. Just looking at the goal scorers. Tomorrow we've got a big match up at Western up against Maitland. I think Maitland have had something like 10 different goal scorers this year. It's almost like their whole first grade lineup has scored, bar Matt trotting goals.
I think the beauty about that game, that's a rival game. There's going to be a lot of angst in that game with some ex-plays from either team playing for each other. So, yeah, it's going to be very tight. But just back on this game, it's going to be interesting how the Jets come back from the three goals are down. Sorry.
Here's the ball over the top. Primora just unable to get on the end of it, and Spencer. Well, can Hamilton keep piling on the goals? He's over the top towards Goodchild. They beat them, as I said earlier, 7-0 last season. And I think Hamilton have got a stronger side this season. And based on this Jets side, they're the youngest in the competition's history, this Jets youth side. So I'd probably say they've got a weaker side than last year. So if it keeps going the way it is, it could turn into a cricket score and not a good afternoon for the Jets. But it's a good challenge for them coming up against Hamilton. Here's Ireland slicing it towards us in the grandstand.
Like I said earlier, 3-0 probably doesn't really reflect the game. However, the Jets really need to stay composed here and slowly try and crawl their way back. They are inexperienced, but you know what? They've got the talent and the players to do that. But they just have to watch so they don't get too complacent and go. And yeah, Hamilton pile the goals on.
13 goals at home this year, Hamilton. Here's Degadoy. 9 points from 3 matches so far, and that ball from Corley slicing it over. And just for a goal kick now, Danny Ireland.
The other thing I'm liking about Hamilton's defensive structure is the work of Tommy Spence and Kane Goodchild putting pressure on the back four. They're working very hard in defence, causing the Jets sort of sometimes to play it long. So that's obviously working well with them as a defensive unit.
Ireland, and now Bird doesn't get on the end of it. Spencer does. And now a ball from Davies to Bird. Bird back to Davies. Davies now down the left-hand edge of the box. Cutting it back, and I think it came off Jackson. It has come off Tyson Jackson. Interestingly, I think all the corners for Hamilton have been on that far side of the ground on Simon Mooney's preferred right foot. None on this near side for Olympic. Simon Mooney taking his time going over to take this one. And here's Bird. Back to Spencer. In towards Brymora. He heads it away. Now Carroll looking for Brymora. And now Hodges. Now Damien, I'm interested as a former coach in this competition. So we got this free kick. Your side's down 3-0 after not even the first half gone. What do you do? What do you say at half time, and how do you get them back for the second half?
If I was Clayton Zone, I'd still encourage them. Like, you know, they're showing enthusiasm. They're closing down. I think their defensive structure's all right, but to be honest, like, I feel the goals that come from defensive mistakes. So as a whole, the game has been quite tight. But obviously, you need to look at ways to score as well. So I don't know. I'd maybe change it up. Probably keep the ball a bit more in front of the goals. Maybe have some shots outside the 18-yard box. And also with the corners, I probably wouldn't be swinging them into Daniel Island. Maybe take a short one just to vary it up a little bit. And depending on how the game's going, you might want to change the shape a little bit.
Spencer now. Back to Kyle Hodges. Just over 42 minutes gone in the first half. Round 7 here on Bar TV. Delayed stream match. Hamilton Olympic up against the Jets youth. Here's Andrew Powiak, Jets captain. Should say it was Anthony Burke. And now down in the corner, Bird and Corley, and over for a corner kick for the Jets.
And that's a good example. The Jets are still trying to play. Even though they're 3-0 down, they're not trying to force the issue. And they're just trying to keep the ball, play what's in front of them, try and get the ball forward and wide as quick as possible. So, I don't know. I'd still encourage that if I was Clayton Zane.
Here's Burke, back to Corley. And Reece Cooper with the foot in over the sideline.
And that's good. See how they varied up the corner already, going for a short corner. I think that's a good play rather than knocking in for Daniel on the pick-up.
Here's Waller into Cody Lucas, and another corner kick for the Jets now. Just building some pressure on the Olympic defensive line. Hamilton now wary of this short corner. They've got two men, Tom Davies and Reece Cooper, stationed just on the edge of the 18. Here's the ball in. Ireland with the punch. It's a better corner. It's Cooper. Back to Davies. There's a great ball to Goodchild, who holds it up for Hamilton. Back to Cooper. Now plays it wide to Leo Bertos. Lovely ball. Daniel Bird also streaming up. Goodchild. The Jets getting back well. Here's Bertos to Bird in towards the middle, and Tyson Jackson doing well for the Jets. Hamilton flooding forward there in numbers, Damien, as Cooper loses possession and should give away the free kick, and does. But the Jets did really well. A lot of players getting back for them there.
Yeah, definitely got back and put pressure on the ball. I think Kane Goodchild won't be too happy with it, with Leo there. He's ran about 100 metres to support him in the box, and we end up losing it. So, yeah, it was well done by the Jets. Good pressure.
Kane Goodchild turning. He's looking for his second hat-trick of the season. He's already on 2 this afternoon. He wins a free kick there. He scored his first hat-trick in their 3-0 win, Hamilton over Lambton. Here's Reece Cooper. He doesn't score the spectacular goals, Kane Goodchild, but he puts in the ones that matter. And that one over the sideline. Throw for Hamilton. That's what you need, Damien. You need that person like Kane Goodchild. He won't do anything really fancy, but he just puts the ball in the back of the net. And what else can you ask for? As we'll come back to that. We'll just see Goodchild on the ball. Plays it in towards Spencer. Spencer on his left foot. Back towards Kane Goodchild. And Enza comes away with it. Yeah, Kane, outstanding.
Yeah, as an ex-coach, you look for strikers that can get into double figures each year, and you set them goals. You want them to get into double figures, but also you're looking for attacking midfielders who can score 7 or 8 as well. So, that's 20-odd goals a season, which could get you somewhere between 2 players. So, but that's what you get a striker. That's why they get paid. That's why they get paid their money to score goals. And Kane's doing that as we speak. But in saying that, he's also doing his defensive duty and also holding the ball up really well and bringing other linking plays into the game. So
I think that's the important thing with Goodchild. He's just so good at holding up the ball for Hamilton. Probably one of the best players in the competition at that, holding up the ball up front. Mick Belch saying he's got the best goalkeeper and centre-back in the competition. Well, Kane Goodchild, he's based on goals scored, he's the best striker in the competition as well. And here's Spencer. Cooper. And that is half-time this afternoon at Darling Street. That's the home side, Hamilton Olympic, with a 3-0 lead over the Jets Youth. Another question, Damien, just as we go into the break, before we sum up the first half. Mick Bolch at halftime. They're at the top of the ladder. They're leading 3-0. Everything's going well for Hamilton. How do you keep the boys going for the second half?
Ben, you're on top of the table. You want them to keep going. The players want to keep going. They're an experienced squad. You know what? Mick Bolch doesn't change a thing. They're looking comfortable. Even though the Jets have sort of threatened a few times, they are looking comfortable, but also they're looking threatening in attack, especially with the use of Kane Goodchild and a few of his forward runners in Daniel Bird, Reece Cooper, and also Simon Mooney. But, they're on top of the table. They've got everything to play for. I don't think it'd be too hard to get them motivated to keep them going in the second half. And a 3-0 scoreline is a fairly comfortable scoreline. 2-0's always a bit, you can get a bit nervy at 2-0, but 3-0's very important. And I think, to be honest, with their experience, I think second half they'll continue.
Well, we're just going to take a quick break here from Darling Street Oval. At half-time, it's Hamilton Olympic 3 leading the Newcastle Jets Youth 0. Yeah, no, you're right. Just let me know when you're good to. Welcome back to the second half here at Darling Street. It's Hamilton Olympic up against the Jets youth. Leo Bertos just waiting for him to take the field again for Hamilton as he's running back over to his position at right back. The Jets left to right and Hamilton right to left in this second half. Jackson back to Ryan Enzer. And now across to Kale Degadoy. It's Hamilton with a 3-0 lead at half-time. It was Kane Goodchild with 2 goals and Jacob Bailey with a solitary goal in the first half as Waller lets it run on to Carroll. No free kick given there to the Jets. Now, Damien, you had a chat to Clayton Zane?
Yeah, he just spoke to Clayton Zane just before kick-off, and he just encouraged the boys to keep playing. He's happy the way they've been playing, but he just said a few individual errors just sort of cost them. That's why they're down 3-0, and he just, he said he's just encouraging their enthusiasm and play what's in front of them. So reasonably pleased. Obviously not happy with being down 3-0. However, the way they're playing, he's reasonably happy.
They're creating chances as well, the Jets. Now, they have made a change on this right-hand side of the ground. Finn Paris has gone on. Just trying to check who has come off. It is Cameron Joyce who's sitting in the dugout. So Cameron Joyce coming off the ground. Start of the season, the flurry. Joyce is here. It's up for Finn Paris. He just wasn't there at the back post. Good chance for the Jets early on, but Cameron Joyce came out at the start of the season like a house on fire. 4 goals in the opening few matches, but since then he hasn't been able to get on the score sheet. He scored against Edgeworth in round 3, and that was his 4th goal, and he hasn't scored since round 3. Christian Brian Mora has been the man that has been up front and outstanding at the point of attack for the Jets youth. Any thoughts on that change? Finn Paris coming on for Cam Joyce.
Yeah, unsure, Ben. I don't know if it's an injury or not, but Cam Joyce was a little bit quiet out on that right-hand side in the first half, but when he got the ball, he did look dangerous. So, I'm unsure if it's an injury or just a tactical change.
Here's Waller now. Going back to Corley. Ball back to Ryan Enzer. Nice control from Enzer, and now Corley. Back to Waller, but Simon Mooney gets a boot in. Back to Cody Lucas. And now Tom Davies. Into the middle, Bailey. Leo Bertos for Hamilton on the right, Mooney. Still Simon Mooney goes back to Leo Bertos, in towards the middle towards Bailey, but Powiak heads that away. Waller unable to control on that far side. Now Bertos, lovely skill into the 18, and Powiak stops his run and just concedes the corner.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to give Leo Bertos space around the edge of the 18-yard box. But in the end, it was well defended by the Jets.
Bertos back to Mooney, and referee wants the corner taken again. Here is Bertos in towards Goodchild. Little deflection, but goes over again for another corner. Simon Mooney again towards the middle of the box. Spencer rising, but Enzer gets the head there for the Jets. Now back for Bird. Scored on the stroke of half-time against Broadmeadow last weekend. Here is Degadoy with the header. And now Jackson. Up towards Finn Paris, but over the sideline. And Hamilton again go on the attack. Tom Davies with the throw. Goes to Spencer. Now Bird. Over the sideline, another throw for Hamilton. Cleared away, and now Bertos after it. Back towards Cody Lucas. 3 goals this season for Leo Bertos. 1 last week, a penalty. Is Spencer. Sits it off beautifully now for Mooney. Still Mooney towards the back post. Goodchild, he's got a hat-trick, Kane Goodchild. His 2nd of the season. Unstoppable up the front for Hamilton Olympic. Just too strong there.
You talk about unstoppable. Simon Mooney did tremendous on that right-hand side. Got past 2 plays and a great, well-weighted pass across to Kane Goodchild, who couldn't really miss from there. Or if he did, he would have been very upset. But yeah, great finish by Kane and a great goal by Olympic. 4-0 now, so I think it's going to be hard for the Jets to come back, but you never know.
Yes, 4-0 now for Hamilton. Jacob Bailey with the foul there on Cody Carroll. Goes back to Powiak. And now Enza. Just too big, too strong, too powerful. Kane Goodchild with his 3rd of the afternoon and his 8th for the season. So outside of those 2 matches, those 2 hat-tricks, just a couple of goals for Kane Goodchild. Been shared around otherwise for Hamilton. Simon Mooney as his ball. Finn Paris with the header. Just over. Almost a chance for the Jets to get back in the game, but another chance for the Jets again.
Yeah, they've had a few chances, the Jets. So I still think they might pinch a goal today. So, but back on Kane Goodchild, he wouldn't really care if he scored 5 hat-tricks, and that was it for the season. The thing is, he's putting goals away, and he'll be happy with that. Plus, the coach is going to be happy with that. That's what he gets paid for, to put goals away. So,
does he get paid a bonus for every goal he scores? Do you know?
I'm unsure, but he's probably negotiating on it now.
Here's Brian Mora playing it wide to Finn Paris. Still Paris in towards middle island. Just got hands to it. Sits up now for Waller with the shot, and Danny Ireland just parries that one away. Probably the Jets' best chance of the match there for Tom Waller, and Danny Ireland once again up to the task. Adam Cooley going over to take the corner.
Yeah, I can't get that corner of the shot.
Just over 7 gone in the second half. Here's Corley on his left. Cody Lucas puts it over for another corner in front of the scoreboard. He's got Anthony Burke coming for the short corner. They go short again. Burke towards the back post. The header from Brian Mora. Over and another goal kick for Danny Ireland. But I think, Damien, if the Jets are unable to score this afternoon, Danny Ireland, once again, I think he's going to be the man that stops them with awesome saves this afternoon again.
Yeah, exactly. But to be honest, I think it's the whole defensive structure, the way Olympics set up. They're sitting a little bit deeper now. They really compact the centre of the park. The Jets have had a few chances there, but it's, they've really compacted the space, and it's making it very difficult for the Jets to get through. So, in a way, it's the whole defensive unit.
Here's Hodges going back to Ireland. Ireland with the clearance. A few Hamilton fans' hearts in their mouths for a moment, but Ireland again at the back, doing a great job. Spencer just giving Finn Paris a shove away from the ball as they were preparing to take the free kick. Olympic. Here's Mooney. Now Cody Lucas. And here is Lucas down towards Kane Goodchild. Back to Bertos. Towards the back post. Now Bird. Still Bailey. Now Bird. In towards Spencer. Lovely chest. He's a clever player, Tommy Spencer, in the midfield for Hamilton. Here's Powiak back to Degadoy. Hamilton, one of 3 Northern New South Wales NPL sides. It's Degadoy over the sideline. One of 3 Northern New South Wales NPL sides still in the FFA Cup. Hamilton, Lambton and Edgeworth, who are through to the final 8 sides, I believe it is. Yep, in the Northern New South Wales competition area. Spencer going into the 18. Tyson Jackson does well. Clears it out towards Paris over the sideline.
Yeah, Tommy Spencer did very well then. Unlucky not to get a shot away, but Tyson Jackson defended very well, put his body on the line.
Here's Goodchild controlling just in front of the byline. Trying to get inside Degadoy, and Degadoy clears that one up the line. Hodges gets his boot in again. Cody Lucas. Now Reese Cooper. Carroll copping a stray boot, and now Brymora. Didn't get enough on that pass, and Leo Bertos swoops in and nicks it for Hamilton now. Mooney back to Cody Lucas. Jackson with the header over the sideline. Here's Bird with the throw. Goodchild. And now Tom Waller. Had a great chance before. He looks for Brymora, but his ball straight to Cody Lucas. Now a good turn here from Corley. Gets away from Simon Mooney. The other match on this afternoon, Lambton and Adamstown. We'll try and see if we can get score from that other match. The match is tomorrow, Western and Maitland. Valentine up against Broadmeadow Magic, and then Charlestown up against Edgeworth. Edgeworth minus Daniel McBreen, so big loss for them. They've got plenty of attacking weapons, so that should be a good one out at Jack McLaughlin tomorrow afternoon. Mooney back to Spencer, who plays in Leo Bertos. That score from Arthur Eden is Lambton leading Adamstown 1-0. Graham Law's side severely weakened again this week. Of course, their first choice keeper, Scott Carter, still suspended, and Matt Paul leaving for Adamstown, but he's not using that as an excuse, Graham Law, so should be a good contest out there at Arthur Eden, the final 35. But here, it's Hamilton Olympic with a 4-0 lead over the Jets. Here's Jackson. Still Tyson Jackson. Under pressure from Bird, who dives in. We may see... Thought we may be seeing a card, but not going to come out there from the referee.
Yeah, he did very well there, Tyson Jackson. Got round Daniel Bird, and Daniel Bird obviously had to foul him just to stop the threat. So it'd be interesting to see what they do with this free kick. If it was me, I'd encourage my side to play it short. You don't want to be lobbing it in the box for Daniel Allen to pick up. I'd probably just change it up a little bit.
So Burke's there with Corley, and Corley hits towards the back post. Not a bad hit from Adam Corley. And now Burke to Corley again. Still Corley, lovely skills. Still Adam Corley trying to get inside Spencer. Goes back to Hawiak, his captain, and Hamilton now with the interception. Cooper across to Goodchild. Kane Goodchild, if he gets a fourth, we'll have to open up the record books. I'm not sure what the most goals scored by a single player in a match in the Northern New South Wales NPL is. Damien might have a clearer idea. Is Daniel Bird.
I remember once many years ago I was coaching Broadmeadow when we beat West Wallsend, I think 13-0, and I think a guy called Scott Maguire scored about 6, I think, but I can't exactly be sure about that.
Well, that'd be up there as well. Scott Maguire with 6. Here's Danny Ireland up over halfway. It's a lot behind that. And now the ball with Tom Waller down that far side in towards the middle. Space for Cody Carroll. Goes wide to Finn Paris. So they've got space here, the Jets. Paris with his shot going over, but Hamilton opening up some areas there for the Jets to come and attack.
Yeah, that was very well played by the Jets. I like the way they switched play through Cody Carroll. I think Finn Paris should have looked at Cody Carroll on the edge of the box. He was free on the edge of the box, so I think he might be a bit disappointed in himself with that cross.
Danny Ireland to Reese Cooper. Played all his juniors at Hamilton Olympic. Reese Cooper. He also spent here at the Jets Youth. That was in 2013 for Reese Cooper at the Jets Youth. Leo Bertos.
Yeah, just off some Reese Cooper. He was very good last week against Magic. He's been a little bit quiet. He's been quieter today. However, here he comes.
Reese Cooper. It's always the commentator's curse, isn't it? Reese Cooper trying to get through. Ko Degadoy. As soon as you say something, the opposite happens. As here is the ball. Cody Lucas unable to control. Brymora charging forward. Cody Lucas doing well in the end to clean up the damage. He did more than well. He played it to Leo Bertos, and now he looks up towards Kane Goodchild.
Yeah, just on Reece Cooper. Yeah, I thought he was one of Olympics' best last week as well. So, yeah, it was unfortunate that he lost the ball going forward, but yeah, he's an integral part of the Olympic setup.
Just 6 goals in his first grade time at Olympic, Reece Cooper, which is surprising. So quick in the middle of that park, but when you got players like Goodchild, Mooney up front, scoring plenty of goals for Hamilton this year. He's had to score his goals from the halfway line. As here is Corley. Back to Anthony Burke. Goes across to Tyson Jackson. Jackson now to Carroll. And Bird putting it over the sideline in front of all the Hamilton Olympic faithful. Now in towards the middle, and Danny Island once again. Straight to him there. Up over the halfway line. Goodchild flicking it on towards Cooper. Reece Cooper down towards the corner and over.
Just on that is Olympics' pet play. Looking for a long ball up to Goodchild for a nod on for a forward runner. I.e., for that example, was Reece Cooper.
Tom Davies heading down to take the throw for Hamilton Olympic. Here's Bird, back to Davies. Still Tom Davies trying to skillfully get inside some Jets defenders. Here's Spencer, back to Bird. Still Daniel Bird. Cutting inside and unable to get his shot away. Scored a brilliant volley last week, Daniel Bird. Here's Mooney. Now with Burke. Carroll and now Waller. Cody Lucas, great close control. Goes to Reece Cooper. Goes towards Mooney, but Corley gets in there. Now Tyson Jackson. Ten games for the under-18s emerging Jet side last year, Tyson Jackson, and 1 goal for him. So big step up into this side now.
Yeah, just on that, I think it's great experience for these young boys at the Jets. Like Clayton Zane said, this is the youngest side to play NPL. So great experience for these young boys. But sometimes you can tell the experience sort of outweighs the inexperience sometimes. And also in a physical battle, the men sort of outweigh the boys. And that's happened a few times today, especially the use of the big fellow Kane up front.
Here's Cody Lucas. Yeah, that under-18s emerging Jet side got through to the grand final last year against Edgeworth. They went down in a penalty shootout. As here is Burke, back to Enza. And I think, as you said about the men against the boys, sort of in that 22s age bracket, as we see Pat Brown's going to come on for Daniel Bird now for Hamilton Olympic, but in that under 22s age bracket, as we saw the Jets get through to the grand final, there's probably not that big a gap, is there, Dame, in physicality between the sides compared Jets youth with the other sides in the competition.
No, not at all. But as you go through the NPL levels, yeah, like looking at today, some of the boys in the Jets youth look like babies compared to some of the Olympic more experienced players. So, and sometimes the physical battle is a key. And you've seen with Kane Goodchild today, just holding the ball up with ease at times.
It's Finn Paris. He's been good since he's come on at the start of the second half. He goes wide to Brian Mora. Brian Mora is ball into the middle, drawing groans from the crowd up here, Darling Street. And over for another goal kick for Danny Island. 4-0 this afternoon, just over 19 gone in the second half. Round 7 of the Northern New South Wales NPL. The delayed stream here on Bar TV. Score from Arthur Eden. We've got Lambton leading Adamstown 2-0 now. It was 1-0 to the Jaffers at halftime, so you'd think with 26 to go, that's a good enough lead for Lambton to hold on to. But strange things have happened, so we'll have to update you any other scorers from that particular match. And Lambton really need that win to close the gap between 5th and 6th on the ladder. 11 points Broadmeadow on, and then Lambton on 4 points as Kyle Hodges lets it run back under pressure from Brian Mora. Now Ireland. Here's Bailey. That was beautifully played from Hodges, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, but also from the Jets, like the closing down was good. Like, you know, even though they're 4-0 down, they're still showing enthusiasm and, you know, trying to get something out of this game, which is really good to see.
Corley now. So both sides with the one change made, and it doesn't look like any more at the moment. There's now Jackson. Tyson Jackson now to Powiak, whose pass was intercepted momentarily by Spencer, but it's come off Jackson and over the sideline for Hamilton's throw. Jackson again over the sideline for Olympic. Just thinking, Damien, Tom Davies, as we said, his last match today for them for the season. Who do you think is best positioned to come into his spot at left back?
Well, I think he was playing right fullback until Grant Brown got injured. So, yeah, so probably because I think Grant Brown was going to start last week at left fullback and Tom at right fullback. But that's what I'm thinking. I haven't spoken to Mick Bolch, but yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Here's Spencer on the volley, Tommy Spencer, and what a save from Pierce Clark in goals. We saw that perfectly from this angle, and Tommy Spencer looking for his second of the season. Pat Brown going across to take the corner. Here is Pat Brown on his left foot in towards Goodchild, but headed away by Cody Carroll. Burtos, Mooney, little touch over. But Anthony Burke headers away to Cody Lucas. Tom Waller. And it's going to be a change for the Jets. Tom Waller coming from the ground. And going on is Aaron Niankuru, who actually came from the Adamstown Rosebuds. Graham Law letting him come across to the Jets youth. Probably be ruining that now, Graham Law, with all the injuries and suspensions. But I spoke to Graham Law and he said he's a big supporter of the Jets program, and that would be the major reason why he let Niankuru go. And it's a great opportunity for him as well.
I was about to say that, Ben. It's a great opportunity for a young boy. I think no coach is going to stand in the way for an opportunity for a young boy. So that's a credit to Graham Law as well to give Aaron an opportunity with the Jets.
Here's Jacob Bailey. And now Mooney. Back to Bailey again. Bringing it across towards Pat Brown. Still Pat Brown now going towards Tom Davies. So, as we were just saying there, Damien, Grant Brown you'd expect will come in for Tom Davies in that left back role, which is he was a great buy for Hamilton, coming from Lambton. Just not getting enough game time with James Pascoe's side, so coming across.
It sounds like, well, they could probably move Cody Lucas. Cody Lucas has played right and left fullback for Olympic as well, so they could shift him from the centre. I think Tommy Davies is going to be a big loss for Olympic. I've seen him in the last two games, and he's been like one of the standouts.
I'm sure if he's back in town next year, Tom Davies, he will be back in the side in 2017. Here's Pat Brown down towards the byline, cuts it back and ends it with the header away. And now with Burtos towards back post. Spencer now with the header, and Pierce Clark again. Two great saves from him.
What I like about Spencer, then he leapt early. He left Tyson Jackson on the ground. He leapt early, got up nice and high, and a nice punching header. But was another good save by Pierce Clark.
Pat Brown with the corner. Just more on Tom Davies. He joined Hamilton Olympic in 2013 as a 16-year-old playing in their 19s competition. Here's Kyle Hodges with a shot. Hamilton Olympic fans enjoying that from Kyle Hodges.
Kyle Hodges' shot is like his tile and it's a little bit crooked, just like my bathroom at the moment.
Well, I was actually given notes for the grand final last year, and my notes said that Kyle was the best tiler in Newcastle. So our bathroom's getting retiled at the moment, and we haven't got Kyle on the job. So maybe next time get Kyle.
Yeah, I've had Kyle on our powder room actually. So not a bad job with Matty Austin, but did Kyle tell you he was the best tiler in the town?
Well, I don't know who wrote the notes because it was him. It must have been him. It's Clark going up. Mooney and Clark coming together. And now good shot looking for a fourth. It's a comedy show out there. Now to Mooney. Still Simon Mooney turning. Oh, lovely skill from Simon Mooney. Clark can't control. Enza decides he'll volley. A great entertainment here, Damien.
Oh, definitely. And Kane nearly looking for his fourth. And I don't know what he did, but it looked like he nutmegged himself there. But yeah, Hamilton pushing forward again.
Here is Cody Lucas in towards the middle. Enza. Ryan Enza, a product of Queensland. Coming to the Jets youth. Here's Nian Kuru. Here's Aaron Nian Kuru challenging Danny Ireland. And Ireland could only parry, but there was no one around him. And he throws wide to Leo Bertos. So just a bit of spark into this match. A little bit of entertainment from that little passage of play as Enza again puts that one over the sideline. Hamilton Olympic fans relax now with the scoreline.
And Simon Mooney once again in tight spaces. He can get past the player nice and easy.
Finn Paris with the interception. Tom Davies there to shut him down. Bertos.
To be honest, the game's been fairly tight throughout the game with a few chances both sides, but now it's really starting to open up. The game's starting to spread, the defence is starting to drop a bit, and yeah, I think there's going to be more chances in this game.
And I'm sure Mick Bulch, Kyle Hodges, Danny Ireland, 4 men at the back for Hamilton want to keep a clean sheet. All the side will, but especially those guys in the defensive line for Olympic, really priding themselves on that score line.
And we talk about goal scorers getting bonuses for goals. Some keepers ask for bonuses for clean sheets. So for a goalkeeper, the pride of the game is having a clean sheet. That's their aim every day.
Well, the amount of clean sheets Danny Ireland's been getting this season and goals Kane Goodchild's been scoring, they may be running out of money, Olympic.
But also when they elect goalkeeper of the year, I think it's based on most clean sheets. So obviously Danny wants to keep as many clean sheets as possible.
I'm not quite sure who was the keeper of the year last year, but Danny Ireland surely would have been up there, if not the keeper of the season. Jim Fogarty missed a lot of games for Edgeworth. And now Ryan Enza on the ball. Tom Davies also in his final game. A lot about him this afternoon. His 50th game for Hamilton. Was the second youngest to debut for Hamilton back in 2013 in first grade. So another stat for Tom Davies. At the back for Hamilton, here's Anthony Burke looking for Brian Mora. He's got Niankura running through. Brian Mora with the shot. Not afraid to chance their arm.
I was about to say, though, he's not afraid to have a shot from outside the box, which is great to see. But in hindsight, he probably could have seen, I think it was Cody Carroll run on the left-hand side. Would have been free and would have been one-on-one with Denny Ireland. So, but another good chance for the Jets. They've had a few this second half.
Danny Ireland, 18 games last season. No goals for him. Lambton up 3-0 now at home at Arthur Eden. James Pascoe, you'd think now will get his second win as the Jaffers head coach. Changing some things at the Jaffers, making it a bit more professional. And with his second win, you'd expect now. Here's Brian Mora, burning Kyle Hodges down this near side. He's got Niankuru in the middle and Tom Davies. Well, There he is again, Tom Davies. And Brian Moore is hurting from that challenge.
Yeah, Tom Davies' recovery run was excellent there. He's going to be a big loss to Hamilton Olympic. He showed pace, but also it's a great tackle as well. So,
two 18-year-olds coming together there. Tom Davies, close to the age of a lot of these Jets players. Here's the shot from Powiak, just sliding wide. That's something you forget, don't you, that Tom Davies is actually the age of a lot of these emerging Jets players. And Danny Ireland with the goal kick.
What I've seen over the last two games, Tom Davies really impressed me. I think I'd like to see him training in the Jet setup, see how he went against the big boys. So, like I said, I've only seen him twice, but I've been very impressed, especially defensively. He's very solid defensively.
Danny Ireland now. So we tick down into the final 15 minutes of this one. As Pat Brown, can Pat Brown get on the score sheet? He hits a shot. Pat Brown gets Hamilton's 5th.
And again, another defensive mistake by the Jets. Just playing the ball back. I think it went under Tyson Jackson's foot, and Pat Brown pounced and finished it really well, actually. But just on that was also the pressure from Hamilton on the back line of the Jets. So another good goal by Olympic.
Pat Brown, with his first of the season there, just unable to force his way into this Hamilton side last year and this year as well. He's been playing a lot from the bench. 19 goals for Olympic before that one, so 20 now. 5 of those last season. As I said, the first he's grabbed this season. But, gee, look at that 11 players that Hamilton have got out there and that front third for them. It's just, Pat Brown is very good striker, and he's just been able to force his way into the side. As here, spinning back towards Danny Ireland. And you think a lot of the other first grade sides, Pat Brown probably walk in and get a start every week.
Yeah, agree. But if you look at the top 4 first grade sides, they're all very competitive. They've got a very competitive 15 players. And to win this comp, you need 15 players. So it's only good to have a strong squad.
You don't want to lose anything when you go to your bench, do you?
No, not at all. But also you want bench players what are going to make an impact. And Pat's came on, made an impact, and you know what? He's going to be knocking on the door for a start soon. And let Mick Bolch have some questions or some thoughts.
Here's Bailey, Cody Lucas, now Bertos. Bertos now to Tommy Spencer, Bailey. And free kick going the way of Hamilton. They've had great fun the last 2 times they've taken on the Jets. 7-0 last year in the final match. And Mooney across the face. Pierce Clark, he's made some great saves in the second half. Brian Moore up. Davies now with a header towards Cooper. Here's Pat Brown. Still Brown. Davies. Davies diving in. No card for Tom Davies. No cards yet from the referee this afternoon.
Yeah, I think Tom was very lucky there. He sort of challenged from behind quite aggressively, so I think he was lucky to get the yellow card there. I suppose he wants to take a card away to him to Europe, I suppose.
Doesn't want to get red carded because he'll come back next season and miss one of the first matches. Here's Corley. Actually, technically, can he miss a game if he's away? Can he take round 8 as his suspension?
He should be able to because he's a registered player. So, yeah. So he may want to take a red card to Europe.
Not the way I don't think he'd want to sign off here from Hamilton. But as his ball over the top, Finn Paris trying to attempt a field goal.
Yeah, and especially in his last game for Olympic and his 50th game for Olympic. So he'll be back next year, I'd say, unless other clubs are sniffing around trying to poach him. Because if I was a coach, he'd be the first person I'll be calling, or one of the first people I'll be calling.
Danny Ireland sunsetting on Darling Street Oval this afternoon. That other scoreline. It's all one-way traffic at Arthur Eden Oval. Lambton with a 3-0 victory. Here's Goodchild over the sideline. It's 4-0 now to Lambton. They're trying to catch Hamilton. Just with with a slight advantage now, Hamilton, in the scoring stakes this afternoon. Jaffers have struggled to score goals this season, but this afternoon against Adamstown, they're not having any problems at all. It was 1-1 at half-time. It was 1-0 at half-time in that one, as here is Corley. And now in towards the middle. Danny Island and Tom Davies is there. Don't want to speak too much about that game, but I think probably Adamstown, you see 1-0 at half-time, I think their bench, and you just see the lack of experience in their squad probably let them down.
Exactly, especially in the NPL, inexperienced sides tend to struggle a little bit. For example, the Jets today, they've done really well against Olympic. However, in areas of just their inexperience has cost them.
Here's the corner from Anthony Burke. Can they grab one, the Jets, this afternoon? Here's the volley from Brian Mora. Hit that with plenty of force. The back of one of the Hamilton players. Could have been a few of them. Here is Corley on his left boot. Jacob Bailey up towards Kane Goodchild. He's got the speed of Pat Brown and Reece Cooper coming with him. Reece Cooper, great block from the Jets captain Andrew Powiak, and he goes to Niankuru. Here is Aaron Niankuru. He's got Jackson on this near side. He brings the ball across to him. Here is Finn Paris, turning Tom Davies inside and out, and Davies wins that battle. Up to Brown. Brown dispossessed by Paris, but he gets it back, and now Tom Davies. Bailey. Back to Ireland.
You have to give the Jets credit here. They're still chasing. They're still trying to close down. Even though they're 5-0 down, they're still trying to work and get something out of this game. So, good on the Jets. And also Clayton Zane's doing a lot of encouragement from the sideline with his boys to keep working hard and let's try to get something out of this game.
Here is Cody Lucas. This is Bailey now. Cooper flicking it over. Simon Mooney was away on that far side, but a boot in just saved the day there for the Jets. Here's the ball across to Mooney again now. Played some of his football at Lake Macquarie, Simon Mooney, under Chris Turner. He's not with us this afternoon, but he'll be back at some point, Damien, throughout the season.
Yeah, I think Chris Turner brought Simon Mooney down maybe about 10 years ago, and we picked him up at Magic, so he had quite a few years at Magic before he moved on to Lake Macquarie under Chris Turner. So Chris Turner is a family friend of the Moonies, and his parents are actually right in front of us. So, and he's been outstanding today, Simon Mooney too.
So we better not say anything bad then, Damien. That'll be all positive. It's here. He's a good child. And now Ko Degadoy, strong at the back. He's another one from Queensland for the Jets side. As here's Finn Paris trying to get inside Davies. Goes in and wins the ball again. Paris and Davies bumping each other over. That time Paris came out of it the better. Now Davies up towards Pat Brown. I should say Degadoy from Sydney, not Queensland. Sydney side are coming to the Jets. As here is Corley towards the back post. Brian Mora, but Danny Ireland, tallest man on the park, and that's where you want him.
Yeah, that's bread and butter for Danny Ireland. That's where I think Clayton's a little bit disappointed with his crossing just there. You want to keep it away from Danny Ireland, otherwise it's straight in his mitts.
Pat Brown with some fancy new boots this afternoon, bright silver. Chris and them with a goal this afternoon. And now into Jacob Bailey. Pat Brown calling for the ball on this side of the ground, and Bailey plays it across to him now. And Tyson Jackson with a great tackle.
Yeah, Tyson Jackson did very well there. He just stepped back a little bit. He knew exactly what Pat Brown was going to do, and he did well. He read the play very well, Tyson Jackson. Well done, mate.
3 losses in their last 27 Olympic, and it'll be 3 in 28 now this afternoon. Here's Spencer. Here's shot almost dipping in towards the near post. Pierce Clark didn't look too worried, so I didn't think it was going in. But Pierce Clark in goals. Been here for the last 2 weeks, but his height up front has been great for the Jets this afternoon. And he's made some great saves as well, Pierce Clark.
Yeah, I think Pearce has done very well this afternoon. I think in the first half, which caused Bailey, who's just been subbed now, to have the tap in. We haven't got replays with us, but he probably could have done better to hold the ball because he parried into Bailey's hand. However, he has saved quite a few goals today, Pearce Clark, and I think Clayton Zone will be quite happy with him.
Sam Parker going on. Played at South Cardiff last season. He came on as well last week against Broadmeadow Magic. Late on in the clash. Jacob Bailey getting a well-earned break there for Hamilton. But Damien, we haven't got the Dusthund House man of the match this afternoon because it's not the live game, but we can come up with a man of the match. But there's been some great players out there for Hamilton. You got Tommy Spencer, Danny Ireland, and Kane Goodchild up front. As Tyson Jackson, still Jackson, he goes back to Anthony Burke.
I agree with you, Ben, but it's hard to go past a guy who scored a hat-trick. He's worked hard in defence. Here
is the back post in, Kuru. Danny Ireland diving in to keep that one in.
Yeah, there has been some very good players out there, all the ones you mentioned, but and also Hamilton's backline's been quite solid with Kyle Hodges, Cody Lucas, Leo Burdos and Tom Davies. They've all been solid as well at the back. Obviously, they've got a clean sheet, but it's going to be hard to go past 100-kilo Kane Goodchild up front. He might be under 100 kilos now. I'm not quite sure after today because he's worked hard in defence. Here he goes again. But he scored 3 goals, so obviously the coach is going to be very happy with that.
He wasn't 100% fit in the grand final against Edgeworth last year, and I think that really hurt Hamilton in that match against the Eagles. They didn't score that day, a 2-0 loss. And I think there's still a lot of fire in the belly from that one. They want to get the victory this season, but there's a long way to go yet. Here's Brown Reese Cooper appealing for potentially a handball. Degadoy's down just while treatment is... And will be treatment for KO Degadoy. I didn't quite see what happened there, Damien, but Hamilton, that loss would have really stung in the grand final last year, and you just see the desire this season.
Having coached in a grand final before, Ben, a loss in a grand final really hurts, and it takes a while to get over. And one of the best feelings you'll ever feel is winning the grand final. Being a coach that's won the premiership versus the grand final, I think the grand final is the more satisfying win because it's on the spot and it's just one thing you share with all the boys. So obviously Hamilton want to go one step better this year and win the GF. Also, but at the moment they're on the top of the table and obviously they're after the premiership as well. So, but the way they're travelling, Mitch Bolts must be happy.
So Degadoy still receiving treatment as we go into the final 3 minutes of regulation time. 42 gone in the second half. Hamilton Olympic with a 5-0 lead over the Jets Youth. There are 3 minutes to go at Lambton, and it's Lambton with a 4-0 lead over the Rosebuds. So Rosebuds will be anchored to ninth spot on the ladder. Western, they're going to need to get something out of tomorrow's match against Maitland if they want to get off the bottom of the ladder. And I think in the derby to bring out the best in Western, Trevor Morris's side, as Pat Brown almost getting through.
I'm also predicting at least one red in that game as well. So there's going to be some passion in that game and there's going to be some aggression as well. So my prediction, I don't know how many goals, but I think there's going to be at least a red.
A red card. So if you want to see a red card, watch that game tomorrow. Here is Spencer Burtos. Here is Parker. Back to Burtos. Here is Spencer now. Cooper playing it wide. A lot of feeling in that game, of course. Brock Oakley, Carl Thornton, Liam Thornton. There's a list full. Steve Piggott going against his former club. I've left someone out probably. Tim Pratt is now playing for Maitland. Signed midweek. Liam Thornton. And for Western, they've got their 2 goalkeepers, Ben Kelly and James Wand. Here is Mooney. In towards the middle. Pat Brown, can he grab a late double? Tyson Jackson has a lot to say about that and doesn't allow him to get through. Jackson looking for Brian Mora. Here is Finn Paris. Now in towards Nian Kuru.
I like how the Jets are still looking to play, which is great. They're not just pumping it long trying to get a goal.
And now Cody Lucas away to Cooper. Mooney. And they break here, Hamilton. Ball just a little bit away from Goodchild, but he runs it down. Goodchild now towards Cooper. And Anthony Burke is there to run that one down. Into the final 30 seconds of regulation time. Round 7. Delayed stream on Bar TV at Darling Street Oval. And Hamilton will keep their undefeated run alive this season. And the Jets will go back to the drawing board. Here is Tyson Jackson. Jackson cutting inside Pat Brown. Now looking for Brian Mora, but Kyle Hodges is there to intercept as always for Hamilton. Here is Reese Cooper. Cross to Sam Parker. Now Mooney. Lovely ball to Goodchild. Well, maybe a little bit far over to this near side Mooney. Goodchild, he's done plenty of running this afternoon to Mooney. And coming through is Cody Carroll. Free kick goes the way of the Jets. Got a substitution and drawing a round of applause here. Lewis Townsend going on for Hamilton. And Tommy Spencer coming off. So obviously he has a big fan club.
He must. But Tommy Spencer's had another solid game. A great game against Magic last week, and today's been solid again. He's been, he's created a few things for Hamilton, and he's done his job, like all the other Hamilton players have. And just on Hamilton, they're up 5-0. They haven't changed their structure. They've just played the way they have from the first minute, and that's what I've been impressed with Hamilton Olympic.
So Grant Brown, the unused substitute for Hamilton, which makes sense. He's a defensive player, so Mick Polch not wanting to throw a defensive player out there with the scoreline as it is. Here's Townsend turning over to Brian Mora. And now Davies going back towards Hodges. Hodges to Mooney. Mooney back to Davies and into Finn Paris.
I think Olympic here are just happy for the clock to wind down. 5-0 is a great victory for Olympic, even though the game's not over yet. But like I said before, Jets are still looking to play, which is good.
Here is Leo Bertos now. Back to Cody Lucas and now Parker. Wouldn't think too much longer, just the 1 minute of at a time gone so far. Hasn't been too many stoppages. Ko Degadoy getting some treatment earlier, but that was about it. A few substitutions. Here's Finn Paris. Trying to cut inside the 18 and over the byline for a late corner for the Jets. Can they salvage something late?
To be honest, in the whole mainstream of the game, I think the Jets probably deserve a goal out of it. But I'll tell you what, Mick Bosch would be filthy if they concede a goal here. Even though they're 5-0 up, they want a clean sheet.
Corley again. Not one of his best efforts and over. It has come off. I think it may have come off Tom Davies or it's been put over. Put over there by Townsend. I'm not sure at the near post. It's going to be Corley again. It's a better corner from him. It sits back for Pauiak, who has a shot. Simon Mooney, a strong challenge there. Nian Kuru. Now Davies. Under pressure. And Hamilton keep their undefeated run alive in 2016 at 7 matches now. And a great performance from them this afternoon. 5-0 over the Jets youth. And Damien, a dominant performance from Hamilton, but the Jets played pretty well this afternoon as well.
Yeah, agree. 5-0 is a dominant scoreline, but you know what? That was a professional game by Hamilton Olympic. They did what they had to do. They scored a few goals on the defensive errors from the Jets, and to be honest, the Jets, I thought Impact just played quite well. They held the ball well, knocked the ball around well, and they stayed to their structures, which I think Clayton Zane will probably be reasonably pleased with the Jets' performance. However, Mick Boss must be very pleased with Hamilton's 5-0 win, and to me, it was just a professional win. They did what they had to do.
So full-time here at Darling Street Oval. That other score was Lambton Jaffers 4, defeating the Adamstown Rosebuds 0 at Arthur Eden Oval. The score here this afternoon at Darling Street, it finished Hamilton Olympic 5, Newcastle Jets Youth 0.
suit if you weren't. No, that's all right. That's all right. Like I said, anything local, it's